Good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to our MAT181 Research in Mathematics. This is a senior year course for those math majors. We thank the Lord and welcome you to this session. This is a very brief session. I hope AJ is watching through this stream. So I will be looking into the parts of a research proposal. So that's an important way. No, ito ay dapat magkaroon tayo ng familiarity on the different parts of a research proposal, a dissertation, or a seminar or a thesis, no? So pare-pareho lang naman ang concepts niya, no? So we thank the Lord for that. This is a very brief. It won't take long. I'll just record it through the classroom. And I'll just allow AJ to perhaps this week to prepare and submit a research proposal for as a midterm requirement. Okay, so yan yung ating magiging sistema. So the requirement is a research proposal. So that's chapters 1, 2, and 3. So we will be detailing now all right, so let's wait for a while. I hope my students will be around, okay, watching us. So welcome again to our Research in Mathematics senior year course intended for senior education major in mathematics to provide some research activities as far as our students concerned and familiarization with the research process, so that they may also know how to acquire data through different methodologies. No? So yung mga pamamaraan na pag-gather ng data, at the same time the concepts of research. As teacher, we must be researchers also. So our study, our lectures should be grounded on a well research. No, I would say that our teaching should be well grounded by research. No? So at least there are concepts already that have been established per discipline. However, we could always have a more vibrant study if we will have research as one of our foundation in our teaching. So there is a correlation between research and teaching. The more you have research, the more content or perhaps the contextualization in teaching will be more manifested. No? So mahalaga rin ng teacher na mahalaga din na maging researcher ang isang teacher. No? Though meron talagang tinawag sa pagre-research, most of these are research professor, research specialists, that eventually become scientists or specialists in their respective field. So may mga ganon, may mga teachers talaga, academicians who would like to have a passion to teach, though they have some researches also, but they're more focused on the teaching, academic, or the educative process. No, though that's research is one of them. No? So I hope that EJ is around while we are discussing this. This will be just a brief study. I'll be basing my this presentation at the graduate research manual of Bulacan State University Graduate School. So I acknowledge the authors. So thank you for your materials. Indeed, this will be useful even on my undergraduate research for my student. So this an undergrad, though my presentation would be more on the graduate level. So, ang pagkakaiba lang naman nun ay basically we will follow the same research concept, paradigm, methodologies as far as research concerned. However, the scope may be wider or deeper. There are a lot of analysis that will be done by the graduate level compared to the undergrad level. Okay, so I hope my student will let me invite my student if he could come here. Okay, acknowledging one top chat from our YouTube channel. Okay, let's move on with the content. What would be the content? What would be the content of our research? No? So that's the idea. And what are the salient alright, naliligaw yung aking page. Ayan, what will be the qualities or the salient provisions or those that are expected on a particular research paper or thesis or dissertation, whichever. Okay, let's move on. This will be a brief course study. I'll be basing this to the graduate manual of Bulacan State University. Thank you for the respective authors. I believe your reference material is will benefit my undergraduate student. He's a fourth year BSED major in math major. So thank you for this material, and I would acknowledge the authorship of the respective author. We have here a preliminary section. So basically, when we are dealing with thesis or dissertation of our research may consist of any of the following elements and appear in order. So of course, we have the title page. So there must be a title page, and most universities and college has their specifics. They have their dimensions as far as the research is concerned. Even the research proposal, no? So research proposal would only be until chapter 3 of your research. However, this should always follow the format of a full-blown research. So of course, we have the title page is essential copyright page, though this is optional, but you intend to publish your thesis and your dissertation research, this could be useful. Then you have the approval sheet from the thesis committee, wherein though in our school at Bethany, this may not be, I will not be tedious about this, no, because ilan lang ba yung faculty, we're small, but we still follow this title, no? Approval sheet, okay, abstract. The abstract is a summary of your research, what's the bird's eye view, then acknowledgement for those who help you in the research. Dedication may be optional, although I would suggest that you put your dedication there. And the table of contents, what are the listing of the contents as far as the 5 general chapters, that includes the problem in its background. You have the literature study, no, or review of related literature and study. Chapter 2, the methods of research or research methodology. Number 4, chapter 4 is the findings. And then we have 5 conclusion recommendation for the research. No? So those are the 5, basically, the 5 major parts of our research. And all preliminaries or front matter of a thesis, dissertation, or research are counted as pages and are given lowercase Roman numerals on the top of the page. So whenever there are paging, so it will be considered small Roman numerals. I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And centered heading, so there will be a specific format for that. All topical headings are capitalized and centered. No? So there must be this, though I will not be rigid on this, it's better that we will establish our research format, no, for our college, LD, Woosley, Bethany colleges as well. All right, then we have our title page. This title page of a thesis or research is the first page that includes the following information: the title of the topic. Basically, the content is there. And then you have the full name of the author. There must be the name of the author. No, kailangan yan. Kailangan namang walang author itong research. Then submission date. No? The submission date, such as the relationship of the research work to the degree sought. Submission statement, rather. Okay, and the name of the institution where the research work is submitted and the date of presentation. So those are important aspects. Then next to this, later we'll have a sample, and this I will be uploading this entire material to our classroom in MAT181. No? So I will just fix up so that hopefully I could give you 2 weeks. AJ, if you're listening, I'll give you 2 weeks to have until the thesis or the research proposal stage, so that we will decide if for the last 6 weeks we will continue to have a full-blown research. So at least I could have a progress of this. No? Yan, there are capitalization, single space, etc., where the title requires more than one line. Okay, and this basically a figure, an example from Batangas or Bulacan State University. So you have here the title, Learning Style of Private School Sophomore Students in Division of Bulacan. There are spacing. Okay, and then we have the title, that this is the submission statement. A thesis presented to the faculty of, well, for our case, is the faculty of the Department of Education or the Bachelor of Secondary Education, Major Mathematics Program of what institution? So for our case, it's LD Woosley, Bethany Colleges. No, I'm acknowledging the authors of this handbook. Thank you, Bulacan State. No, yeah, Bulacan. And then a partial. This would be the logic why you're submitting a thesis, because it's a partial fulfillment for the requirement of the degree, Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education, major in mathematics. And then we have the name of the researcher, and then you have the date of submission. So that would be the front page. At least on the front page, you're already a check. So magkakaroon lang ng adjustment yan. Even you could do this in Word document. You could follow. Why there's a need for you to have a 1.5 left margin? This is for the purpose of binding. So that pag binan siya, pantay na siya. Hindi yung kung 1-1 yan, iikli yung left margin. So for the purpose of binding, we have 1.5 inch left margin and 1 inch right margin. Alright, so titingnan ko lang yung aking mga ka-live stream. Tinaba na kaya ako? Alright, so we are continuing. Saglit na mga kapatid. No? I hope my student would catch up. So wala pa. Yun, may comments na rin siya. So, yun. Okay, I hope my student will come in. Okay, so this most likely the front page. All right. So that's the title format, page format. So this is essential. No? Next, the coverage page, though this may be optional. Appear separate page following the title page serve as a notice that the author writer of the thesis or research owns a copyright and should be protected by law against unauthorized use, publication of this, no, without a prior notice or perhaps quotation from the author without prior consent. So, yung ang tawag dyan ay plagiarism. No? So, tingnan tayo dyan. No? Let's acknowledge the resource per se. Oh, there are seemingly misconnections. Hopefully, yan, may mga connection issues tayo dito. Okay, so copyright page now includes the year of copyright was secured, the name of the author, writer, the reservation of the right. It appears in a page as indicated on the center and position last line. So this is, and then we have also the approval sheet, proceeds the abstract. It contains in the page provides the following: acceptance of a thesis dissertation applied for a thesis advisor, or research advisor by the thesis dissertation committee and approval by the dean of the institution. For this case, a graduate school, but in our case, it's the college. So there must be the dean of the college who will approve this dissertation and the date acceptance approval of the thesis. So we have here a figure here. So this is the copyright page that proceeds after your title page. So it's just an indication of the right of the researcher or the author of that research. So nevertheless, I'll be uploading this on our classroom. So para may guide ka AJ, no? And then we have the approval sheet. This is another, ayan, so indicating that your dissertation or your research or thesis that's entitled which prepared submitted partial fulfillment. So that's the purpose. So parang katulad din yung sa title page, though you have your dissertation or research advisor. That's yours truly. And we have, no, formally there are dissertation committees. There are 3, 1 chairman and 2 members. Meron yan, pero siguro ano na lang to, formality na lang makikita natin. And so 1 chairman, 2 members. And then of course for acceptance is the dean of the college or the chairman of the college. Now this would be accepted for the fulfillment of Bachelor of Secondary Education major in mathematics. Okay, for the case of my student. Though my example is for the dissertation. So don't be confused on here. All right. Then next to this is the abstract. It's actually a descriptive summary of a thesis or dissertation. It's needed, no, for this. Now this is called abstract. It includes title of the study, the author, institution, no, degree sought in its major, statement of problem, issue, a brief description of the research methodology, major findings, and their importance, conclusion. No? So, kinapsulize mo yung chapters 1 to 5 sa abstract. So, for this, as stated here in the Graduate School Handbook of Bulacan State, you have abstract of maximum of 350 words. It's recommended for typing and printing. No? Okay, figure 4. Then acknowledgement, you have the expression of gratitude and appreciation to the unusual assistance, guidance, and direction received by the author or writer of the thesis or dissertation from numerous institutions or the individual in the conduct of the study. So yeah, no? If used, acknowledgement should be simple, selective, free from flattery and excessive recognition. So yeah, the simple thanksgiving for this. No? Only persons, institution, organization which extended unusual but important assistance which led to the success of the completion of a dissertation of research should be given appropriate acknowledgement. Okay, so then we will have an example afterwards. Then dedication contains center in one piece devoted to ideas, things or person whom the writer derived inspiration, purpose, and achievement. So dedication. Here's the abstract format. Okay. So we have here this, no? So at least ito may pattern ka ng AJ. So pwede na lang natin siyang i-contextualize sa Bethany College. I don't know if we have already this format in our institution. So if yes, pwedeng yun na ang gamitin mo. No, pwede. If not, we could always contextualize the format. Of course, we will not copy verbatimly the format of Batangas State. This only for reference purpose, and we really appreciate this initiative from our graduate counterpart there at Batangas State. I have many colleagues there in Bulacan State, sa Engineering, College of Engineering, primarily. So So yeah, we could make use or idea perhaps, no? But I would suggest based on my readings also on other manual, research manual, okay itong sa Batangas, Bulacan State. Pa ako napapabatangas. Yeah. So of course, there's also this the abstract, no? So yan, yung mga questions, etc. So this should be less than 350 pages, okay? Then for the acknowledgement, yeah, so this could be their names are not just written, okay, but explain the every fiber and vein of research heart, etc. Why is the reason for their unwavering support, untiring support that they render, and then above all to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Of course, we are a Christian college, so all of this is indebted this to the Lord, to God Almighty, for all the things that the Lord had blesses us, not only in the academic but also the spiritual blessings, since we are a Christian college. So nevertheless, the details I'll be uploading in our classroom. No worries about this. Then we have the dedication format as well. So this is a brief dedication, no? Dedicated to your mom, sister, and above all, the Lord Almighty. That's the dedication. Then the table of contents is a necessity. Table of contents shows the major division of a dissertation or research, the preliminary section or front matter that we have discussed a while ago, and the text, which is the body, the actual research, the body, and the reference section with their respective numbers, titles, chapters, and references. A good table indicates coherence among major divisions of a research or dissertation and observes proper use of capitalization, punctuation, and margin and like that presents the major divisions of a thesis in a clear logical manner. So I would encourage a 5-part dissertation or research, though some may have 6 or 7, but I would have a format that is 6-chapter research or 5-chapter research, I would say. No? So the number of preliminaries, text or body in the reference section, okay, and the wording capitalization should be exactly the same as are in the text. No? Kung ano yung page number sa table of contents, yun ang dapat na actual na table of contents. So hindi pwedeng maiba kasi malilito yung ano. So list of tables, so if there are tables, most especially on the results of your research. So after you have gathered data, you have already this tabulation, you may use tables, no? Table number, the full title of each table, corresponding page number, etc. So you have the list of tables and the list of figures that you have used. That would perhaps start on even in chapter 1. We have the theoretical framework or conceptual framework, so may use figures there or perhaps to support your idea, and then eventually even in the research method as well as the some figures that could be used even in the actual result of the research. Of course, the statistical data in graphical form. So there's a necessity for you to have a graphical presentation so that the readers may have a visualization, no, of the result. No more, it could be visualized graphically rather than just a numerical presentation. Charts, drawings, diagrams, maps, photographs, blueprints, computer prints out, etc. Separate pages made for the list of figures. There are examples here. So this is the example of your table of contents. This is your preliminary part or the front matter. Then starting with chapter 1. So we have the problem in its background and what composes of the problem. We have the introduction. Later on, if we have time, I would look into some of a checklist on how we could say whether you accomplish, you could have written correctly those parts, no, or efficiently, no, naging maayos ang iyong pagsasubstantiate ng bawat parts ng isang research, no, project or the problem in its background. We have the introduction, the statement of the problem, the hypothesis statement, the importance of the study, scope and delimitation, and the definition of terms used in the studies. All of this part of what we call the background, the problem, and its background. Okay, so chapter 1. Then we have the review of related literature, all of the readings, whether that be local or foreign. So we should be stating there, you should have comparison. Dito normally nitty-gritty, bakit mo nakuha yung ganung variable, ano yung pagkakaiba ng variable ng research na to sa research mo. So all of these comparisons and differentiations should be indicated on the review of related literature. No? We could divide it in first in the literature, all materials that is not an equivalent research, dissertation, or thesis could be considered as literature in terms of publications, in terms of books, reference materials, etc. are considered literature, and then the studies are actual research, whether unpublished or published research or dissertation, could be considered related studies. And this would have an impact on your actual research. No? So yung readings mo, ano doon yung adapt mo? Ano yung i-replicate mo? Ano yung hindi mo kukunin? Ano yung i-replicate mo sa bawat literature review na to or study na pwedeng maging akma diyan sa iyong research? Ano yung pagkakapareho? Ano yung pagkakaiba? So, yun po yan. Though I will have a separate lecture on the details of this. Perhaps, hopefully, I could have another video, live video for this one. So, yeah. But for the meantime, this just a preliminary. Okay. Okay, I don't know if my student cannot connect. Okay, you could just chat on the YouTube channel, AJ, if you're listening, or you could connect on the restream. Okay, so yan yung mga ano ng ating technology. So sometimes, so nevertheless, this is the table of contents. So also Bulacan State are also utilizing a 5-chapter. For this one, hanggang proposal lang, no? Pero may chapter 4 and ano pa yan? Chapter 5. For this proposal, problems, background review of related literature and study, presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data. So, well, I may differ on this, no? But perhaps chapter 3 should be the methods of research. There must be a methods of research, and then chapter 4 is the presentation, analysis, interpretation of data, and then chapter 5 would be the conclusion, recommendation. Conclusion, suggestion, recommendation. So those are the facts. Those are the titles, okay? So yan, may mga differentiation lang dito. So here an example of the list of tables. I just passed it down. Also similarly with the list of formats or figure formats, I would say. Then the references, of course, we'll be using the APAS format, American Psychological Association format in terms of our citations. Citation format will be using the APA format. As we have seen here on this references. Yan. So ganyan yung ating gagawin as far as our reference concerned. Okay. Okay, let's continue. Then we have the chapter 1. So this is now the nitty-gritty chapter of our research. So, ayan. Yung siguro magpapakaroon ako ng part 2 nito, hopefully by tomorrow or within this week, hopefully I could post again this on the YouTube channel, this particular, though not anymore on our schedule. Okay? So, yun yung ating makikita dyan. So, the problem in this background, though I will also have a checklist for this, no? The opening chapter of this book or the research itself is the need for research not only to solve problems and difficulties, but also to expand the frontier of knowledge and to improve the quality of social life. Okay, so that's perhaps an introduction. This chapter deals with the guideline in writing the problem in its background, which start in the introduction. So there must be a good introduction. There must be some levels as far as what to expect by the reader is concerned. So it's important to give the reader a clear notion of the general scope of the problem investigated. So the problem has or should have a scope. Okay, so ayan, so almost 4 o'clock. No? So but I would be, siguro, itutuloy ko to. We will have a part 2. So but for AJ, if you're listening, the requirement should have been a research proposal as your midterm requirement, perhaps to be submitted next week, or I could extend it until the following week. However, we might decide whether you just polish your research proposal for the time or continue pursuing a full-blown research because we still consider the time. I don't want this to be a burden to you, extended until the second semester. So when the first semester stops, the requirement also will be stopped as well, as far as research in mathematics is concerned. So you have, so in the introduction, okay, we have here, acknowledging Ma'am Gina. Salamat po Ma'am Gina sa inyong pagpunta sa ating online course about research in mathematics. I'm explaining the different parts of our research, the format. Now we already have the front matter or the introductory matter, and then we have the body. So far we are on the background of the study, but the problem and its background, the first and foremost, we should have an introduction, and the reader should have given an enough idea about the similar problems from other country. That's a mega level, perhaps in a dissertation or a thesis that could be most likely evident, but I won't require that on that level. In our country, perhaps on a macro level, or a particular place that's more predominant in an undergraduate research. No? So in a particular place where the research is conducted. No? So there are levels also. And the writer should underscore the difficulties caused by the problem and the importance of investigating it. So there must be a motivation, there must be somehow an explanation why the writer should research on this. No? So have a solution on the problem perceived. Okay, and the importance of investigating. Hence, this part of the study, the introduction, is primarily designed to meet the felt need to the reader. No? So there must be, kailangan maramdaman ng reader na importante yung iyong research. It makes sense to the reader. The presentation of the investigation should be naturally led to the objectives of the study. So we have the objectives of the study, which is sometimes optional. However, these are the desired expected ends to be achieved through a research activity that are not influenced by judgment or personal bias. This must be hindi dapat ito pangunahan ng mga personal na yan, yung mga personal na ano, no? Sige, tama ka. Yan, di ka dapat pang ibabawa ng biases mo o yung gusto mong mangyari mismo. Itong gusto kong matupad sa aking research. Hindi ganun ang research. Dapat hayaan mo yung research, no, that will have its scientific methodology, no, applies science on your research, whether it's qualitative or a quantitative research. There must be science, systematic analysis, no, without any prejudice or bias or your judgment. So yun yung makikita natin dyan. No? They describe the aims and goals which are expected to be achieved at the end of a research process. So that's very important. Okay. So yun yung makikita natin dyan. No? Perhaps I will have another set of session for this one. Okay, the general objective is broad statement of purpose which uses abstract of concepts. Specific objective is an activity necessary to attain the general objective. So there must be a specific objective, though there are overarching objective of your research. May mga specific na dapat tugunan yan that would support your general objective. Of course, the good objective, no, we have seen that these are smarter, useful to remember. No, you should be acronym smarter. That will be meaning that will be useful in remembering as follows. No, there must be should be stated in simple language. No, simplicity, measurable concept. No, there are measurable concepts. No, kailangan ma-measure yan. Pag hindi ma-measure, mahirap i-research yan. And then attainable. There is attainable in of course, in a due time. It could be attained by the research procedure and the researcher per se. And it is result-oriented. No? The research is worth researching. No, kasi may mga problem na hindi worth researching. No, hindi talaga siya hindi talaga siya kumbaga yung impact niya sa body of knowledge ay hindi ganoon, no, kaya hindi ganoon well impact, no, so you must consider that. And then time bound, of course, this must be a time bounded study, generate enthusiasm for the researcher per se and for the readers of the research, to the community in general, the academic community that will contribute, that will benefit from the research and make use of the local resources. No? So those are what we call the SMARTER, no? The SMARTER acronym. The objective of the study should not only flow on the identified study, but should lead also to the statement of the problem. So we have a statement of the problem must be shown as one arose from the situation, need, or of unresolved difficulties. Now, the reader must be organized or recognize this need. The statement of the problem has the following characteristic. The problem should be stated precisely, accurately, and clearly. Now, so I already have given a sample thesis on this. Now, perhaps I will upload this also to our classroom sooner or later. It can be either one main statement or question or a series of statement question combination of this. The problem should be defined in terms of data that can be obtained. Yeah. Siguro hanggang dito muna tayo. Then tutuloy ko to by next time, Lord willing. No? The statement of the problem may be classified into two categories, major and specific. The major problem is the broad statement of the problem that uses abstract, immeasurable concepts, but this needs to be turned down into pieces that are measurable, attainable. So specific detailed statement of purpose which uses attainable, measurable concepts, the formulation of which should be based on a logical flow from the major problem or the general problem. Some studies may only have specific problems while others have both categories. Okay? So I'll start from this, then I will upload, no? And then from time to time, I will continue. I'll have a detailed instruction on the classroom, AJ, no? So I will upload this later on. No? I will attach all of the videos to our classroom as well. Okay? So thank you, and for those who are watching, thank you so much. And we will resume sooner or later as Lord wills. Okay, God bless us all. Let's close in a word of prayer. Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. I pray, Lord, that you will continually guide us as AJ is continuing on his study. May you guide him and bless him, and through this material that he may be enlightened and be guided accordingly to the chosen problem for this course. We thank you, Lord, and bless your people. This is our prayer in Christ's name. Amen. Okay, salamat po. Magtutuloy tayo sa panibagong oras. Tomorrow, I'll have my Calculus 1 class by 10:30. And then morning devotion by 6 a.m. Okay, God bless us all.